is the beginning of the show clinker. While I'm waiting for people to jump on, there's already a few people on. It's really great. This, my friends, my dear friends, is the Marquee Club. 65 Marquee. We had to take club off because there's a Marquee Club in England, but we call it the Marquee Club. Thanks, Rob. You know, it's one of my favorites, too. I'll tell you the story once we get a quorum here of why it kind of fell through the cracks. It wasn't because the amp wasn't great. It's actually one of my favorite amps we've ever made. And it has two channels, which if I were to design it today, I would just make it channel switching. But it was hard to do it with a hand-wired amp. And at the time, we were making amps mostly for pros. Hey, Knut Berger, how are you, buddy? We were making amps for pros, and they all had switching systems. So like, oh, we don't need channel switching. It's fine. Just give us two channels that work. This is before we were like really mainstream into dealers and stuff. The first couple of years, we sold mostly just to pros. It was a pretty good business model. I spent all my time, you know, going to Nashville and renting out a rehearsal room with amps and buy a box of coffee from Starbucks and a box of donuts and call up everyone I know and go, hey, I'm over at Soundcheck. You want to come over and play guitar, drink some coffee? It was really nice. I met some people who became really good friends doing that. So maybe that's what I should do. I don't know how much comes through on the internet because when I listen to the playback of this, it's nothing close to what I'm hearing in my headphones as far as quality goes. And it can sound a little crispy and gritty, especially if you're listening on your phone. This is not how the amp sounds. Maybe with earbuds it gets closer. Anyway, so the Marquee Club, when we made our first amp, it was called the London, which a lot of you guys own Londons, so you know what I'm talking about. But immediately someone said, can you make a higher powered version of it? And there were several hurdles to doing that, one of which is that color channel with the EF86 in it doesn't really work in a higher powered amp. It's too noisy, too microphonic. But also the fact that a lot of the London sound was that little 18-watt transformer, output transformer that Mercury Magnetics designed for us. And that didn't translate up. This has what's the equivalent of a JTM45 output transformer. We just changed the impedance on it to match 4 EL84s. So you get some Marshall-y overtones on this, even though it's really more of a Vox kind of. So instead of the color channel from the London, we have this thing over here called a cascode, where we're using a twin triode, but we're wiring it, stringing it up as a pentode. So between, you know, two triodes, you've got two grids and a plate and a cathode. So you can run it. It's not really a pentode. It's more of a tetrode. But, you know, we have a control grid and a screen grid now, like an EF86 does. And it works really well. It's a good sound. I like it. To me, that sounds really great. Now, let me give you a taste of the regular channel, which is just standard gain stage, you know, cathode follower. A little more straightforward sound, a little more, you know. Hey, a couple of teacups and a cathode. That's right. You got it. Oswald Bates, everybody. There's a little more Marshall-y thing going on there. 10, sorry. Um, let's fix that real quick. I need new strings on this guitar so bad. It's going sharp. Anyway, so what happened with the Marquee is your next question. Why didn't it go out? So we made this at the end of 2006. What was going on at the end of 2006 was our business was growing so fast that I needed a bigger shop and I needed to hire more people. And at the same time, keep up with a lot of demand. We were trying to just crank out amps as fast as we could. It was really hard with a skeleton crew compared to what we had later. So we were just busy. And then we took the Marquee to NAMM. Everyone loved it. It's louder than hell. So, like, we're going to put a master voltage on this one. I have 2 of these. This one's for sale. It's kind of already spoken for. Right now I'm holding it for one person who's already expressed that they want it. We're going to put a master voltage on it where the cut knob, which I never use. We were just such Vox queers back then. Oh, we better have a cut knob. Never use it. So with the word cut there, it still makes sense on the master voltage, right? So, got a loose connection here. My voice is cutting in and out. It's really fun amp. I mean, I dig it. What I can't express through the internet is what it feels like under finger, you know? It's fun. Like, it feels like I want to go rock and roll, you know? But I can get it back down to clean. Well, clean as EL84s are going to get, right? I think there's even a little bump switch on here. Nice ringy, chimey, clean sound. What you expect from the AC30 sort of setup. Probably be a good idea to get some Beatley guitars out, like my Gretsch and my Rickenbacker. Anyway, and do the bump back on, which is on a foot switch. And I like to run it up here around 6 or 7. That's just, I got everything I need right there. I can roll the guitar back. And it does have a half power switch. So we can go down to 2 EL84s. You don't really hear that on the internet so much because the compression brings it right back up, but it's a lower output. Now, this is the regular ones, Spruce Creek Traders. Let me go back to the Cascode, which I really dig. I just put a fresh set of EL84s in this too, so it's jumping, you know. Get a little more top end on. So it's similar to the color channel on the London. It has a 5-way capacitor switch here. So you can, get it really, nasally, get it in the middle. I like it down here over on the fat side. Hear that percussive thing? fun to play. So anyway, we have 2 of these. Like I said, I think I'm going to keep the other one. I think. Depends on how much money people want to pay. But this one is already, I'm holding it. It's not a guarantee, but I'm holding it for one guy. They are something we could make more of in the future. One show, you've got to run it to a real cab. Yeah, I just can't do that here. Trust me, I've been moaning about that for a long time. This is just an IR from the aux box of a Marshall 412. It sounds better through a real cabinet, that's for sure. Rob Price says, I tested mine against a 1990s Marshall built AC30 and an older Silverface Super Reverb at a friend's studio, and the Marquee had the best clean sound. Yeah, it gets a really good clean sound. Let me change guitars here in a minute. We'll go through some cleans. That sounds just meaty and not woody to me. I love it. I don't know why that came. Makes you want to rock and roll, if you smell what I'm thinking. So one thing I do know about this amp is it works really well with the master voltage. Hi, Bruce Egnator. How are you, buddy? Welcome, welcome. Everybody say hi to Bruce Egnator. Howdy, Bruce. One of my favorite amp makers right there. One of the smartest guys in our business. Also, a real gentleman and a really nice guy. So, say hello to our good friend Bruce. So anyway, this is an amp, and literally it fell through the cracks. So Mike and I found 2 of them, and to much to our surprise, we just put tubes in it and fired it up, and it works fine. Yeah. I'm sorry. I love this amp when we made it, which was 19 years ago. And we were all disappointed we never got to really focus on it. Yeah. Then he's like, let's try a Strat. See what it does. See what you think, man. Oh, that's some headphone hair right there. Hello. Don't take pictures. I got too much hair for this shit. For headphones, at least. Let's see. Hold on. Why is this stuck? What's happening here? Am I stuck on something? The strap in the way. Anyway, I'm too crowded in here, man. I need a real shop and a real office. It catches up with you after a while. Okay. Where did that go? Hello? I just took it out. Where the hell is it? How did that get hidden? Look at me. I'm learning how to use. Nice hair. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, I got a lot of hair right now, and it does not work well with headphones. Let's see what we got here. clean her up a little bit. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I dig it, man. Sounds spectacular, nice and beefy. Well, thanks. Yeah, I have it down. You see this knob here is like the color knob that's on the London. It's in the darkest position, which is more bandwidth, that's all it is. Letting more frequencies through. That's a good sound. You know, it's got that sort of. That's funny, Ray. The Marquee does seem a bit like an Egnator Rebel 30 stubborn cousin that don't want any tube blending going on. Yeah. This is a pretty straightforward amp. I mean, our stuff is not so much built on feature functionality, it's built on components. You know, there's really, really high quality components in here with high quality workmanship, which is how I personally believe you get good sound out of an amp. Let's go over to the regular channel with the Stratum and Blaster and see what happens. Yeah, a little more straight up British Marshall-y sound. It does have a Marshall style output transformer in it. So even though it is 4EL84s like an AC30, we're kind of blending the best of both worlds. A Vauxhall, a Marshox. Hey, Phil Hadaway. Blackmore always played the 5 under the tonic. That's his sound. Yeah. Right. For a D. Oswald Bates says, and I agree with you, my favorite amps tend to have really nice components and not a lot of components. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I would imagine you could do good rockabilly with this. A little Echoplex and a Gretsch. But let's see. Let's turn this. Let's get a little more. Anyway, you get the idea. Want to try a Gretsch in here? We can throw my Gretsch on and see what happens. Blackmore was still using AC30s for recording a lot later. I did not know that at all. I didn't know he ever used an AC30 to record. I thought he was a straight up Marshall guy. I love that song so you can get that spank out of your Strat. I'm lifting it up with my fingernail, right? Yeah, let's try a Gretsch. See what happens. I literally haven't played. This is it. You're hearing me. I just put new tubes in it this morning. I played it over at Mike's shop for a minute, and but it didn't have, it needed fresh power tubes. So we just kind of, well, it sounds pretty good. Let's see how she do. And went over and saw our friend Marty at ARS in Van Nuys, which if you guys don't know Marty and you're buying tubes, you should. ARS Electronics in Van Nuys, California. He tests tubes so thoroughly, and everything I get from him is great, and he stands behind it too. He doesn't like, oh, tough shit. Yeah, let's do a little tuning here. Sorry. Just pull it right off the rack. Oh, everything's flat. This is usually stuff I do pre-show, sorry. And it's a Bigsby, so give it a second. I gotta balance it. Well, let's see how close we are. We'll go a little cleaner. Yeah. Let's go over to the Cascode channel, which I think we should put this on a foot switch in the future, but for now, it's old school. It's got that rock, that growly sound to it. It's really cool. Sort of similar to what an EF86 does. Lots of meat and texture in there. So let's see. Someone mentioned rockabilly. All right. Let me see if I can get a good slapback echo going here like a real one. Hold on a second. Can't read these pedals. Hold on a second. You know, when you got all these lights on. Aha. Is this not on? What's still? Am I left-handed now? Is the picture still backwards? Are you kidding? I don't see it this way. Shit, what is going on? Am I seriously backwards? Is the image reversed? I don't know how that was such a thing would happen. Oh. I don't know how this is possible. So when I go uncheck mirror my camera, I go lefty here. It's never been like this before. They must have done an update. Shit. All right. Well, tell me if this is better. Did it change just now? Because I just flipped it on my screen to back. I look backwards now. Hi, Scotty Bratcher. Oh, I tell you what. 56 amps still, huh? Hi, Basil. Scheisse. I don't know what to tell you guys. Let me just look at my camera software here really quick. See if something got messed up. I don't think there's an option for this. There's not. so nuts. Hide, show animation, show luminous control. No. Advanced. No, nothing there. Yeah, there's just nothing there. That must be some update. It's all good. Okay. Well. Yeah, I just turned it all the way up. Trust me, it's loud as hell in my ears, and I love it. Let's go a little cleaner. Somebody want a rockabilly? Close enough, right? Okay, there's your rockabilly. I like that sound. It's pretty good. Let's see. Let's give it some hell then, right? Let's turn this echo back down a little bit. So what's my image now? Am I backwards still for you guys? Or no? Scheiße. I'm still backwards. How is that possible? I have no idea what's going on here. There's got to be some setting that I somehow... There's nothing. Like mirror my camera is all I can do. And I turn that on or off and it doesn't change what you guys see. Still flip backwards. I'm going to do some research. Well, I'm sorry, guys. It's Backwards Dan. You know, I am from Missouri, so people have called me backwards quite a bit. Yeah, I'm digging the Gretsch through here, too. It works. Mirror may only work before you go live. You know, the thing is, I've been doing this for a long time, and it just cropped up, like last week. I've never seen it before, and there's no setting that I'm aware of that can do that. I'm not sure. Like, let me see if just make sure there's no visual effects. Let's see what that is. Heads up, the green. Oh no, I don't want that. Camera. I can't. There's nothing. I mean, there's no. Oh, Scheiß cough. Yeah, I don't know why it would be. Just another surprise from StreamYard. And show resolution badge on stage. Display informative messages on stage. I don't care about that. Let's see. Yeah, it's weird. Well, thanks for dealing with it, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was happening. And thanks for telling me. I don't know what in the hell. Well, let's deal with it for today. I'll figure it out later. I'm really sorry. Anyway, any questions about? Not a big deal. It's a quantum glitch. Yeah. again, I can't tell you, I can't express through this medium is how friendly it is under finger. Let's get this amp just makes me want to play. Let's see, a little too much mix on the echo there. I just want a little texture. So it doesn't sound like I'm in a dead room, which I am in, a very dead room. But... Hey, Mark, the amp sounds amazing. Thank you. Rob Price says, in the 1980s, I had a lefty guitar teacher, and it was actually easier to see what he was doing. Yeah, I think because it's exactly mirrored. So let me teach you guys to play some songs, right? Since you left me, I'm alone. First inversion B. C minor. B. A, B. F sharp minor. B. So what you're doing there, you're giving the notion of walking down a major scale. Only has that nice little quack in the sample. Quack, quack, quack. But what you're really doing is, but if I voice the chord differently, I love that sound. Every night when everybody is gone. That's just easy. E to C major. We won't be long yet. C sharp minor. Back to E. E suspended. We won't be long yet. Since you left me, I'm all alone. Now you're coming on home. I can't sing quietly, and there's too many people in the house right now. I got all my kids home on spring break. I'll be good like I know I should. You're coming home. You're coming home, 'cause yeah. There you go. That's your left-handed guitar lesson for the day. Don't know why, but I'm getting Green Day vibes. Yeah? A little bit. Hi, Michael Branson. Good to see you, buddy. Could be. Yeah, there's definitely a good American Idiot era, whatever that was, 25 years ago, 20 odd years ago. And I'm playing through Filtertrons. These are not high output pickups. I think TV Jones made them for me, and if I remember correctly, these are maybe 6K, I think. Yeah, it's got that sound, doesn't it? Here, come again now, baby. Derek St. Holmes. Like a dog in here. Yeah, those records are really good. Like, I loved those mid-70s Ted Nugent records. Before I kind of realized Ted Nugent's an odd duck, but I like those records. They sounded great. I've got a great set of TV Jones. Yeah, Paul Yandale and a Classic Plus, but no guitar to put them into. Oh. Well, get you one of these. That's all I did. This is a reissue. It's a 59 Duo Jet reissue. And I just replaced all the hardware on it. Like Tom Jones made me the pickups. I got a really nice locking bridge. I got the Callahan bar on the Bigsby so it stays in tune a lot better. Had Michael DeTemple do the fossilized Mastodon ivory nut. Locking tuners. No, I didn't put locking tuners on this one. I probably should. And then Michael redid the frets on here. Just resurfaced them his way. So it plays like super easy. But does that Gretsch thing, right? Let me turn it way down here. Beetle hell. There's so many of those songs with those cool riffs. What's the other one? Please, Please Me. That sounded really good in here. I don't know out there. I hope it is too. Putting them in a Telecaster slab, yeah, that'd be fun. As long as it's a good piece of wood. I'm building another Tele. You know, I built that community Tele. And I'm building another one now. And it's really, I've learned from Michael DeTemple especially. But this one, you know, Chris Fleming has helped me with it, and Michael. That's some Gretsch stuff right there. Put just a little more hair around it. I'm digging this. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm trying to talk, but I'm getting distracted hearing how good this sounds. Just a hair cleaner. Axel Inman, hey, what's up, buddy? Quick hello from the range. Hey, I'd switch places with you in a minute. I hope you're having a great time down there. And I'm still looking for pictures and reviews. Anyway, once again, this segment of the show is brought to you by Titleist and the new GTS drivers. One waiting for Dan right now. Just saying. Anyway, I hope you're well, buddy. Thanks for checking in. Tell all them guys hi for me if you would, please. Oh, thanks, man. I'm just kidding you. It's okay. I'm sure there's already reviews coming out. I'm just curious about your thoughts on this. Ooh, I got a burr in my fingernail. That's good Gretsch stuff, isn't it? Going even back to the... Thanks, buddy. that nasty 60s sound before there was too much distortion, right? That's a very cool. Thank you, Bill Strange. I got a Gretsch going through the Cascode channel on the old Marquee Club. So for those of you that weren't here when I started, like this amp, we made it. The date on this one is like beginning of 2007. So I was like, NAM or something. But we actually designed the amp in 2006. And we had so much business with the London that at the same time, we needed a bigger shop. I needed to hire more people. I was barely keeping up with the whole thing. Like I was just working all day, every day. And then everybody kept saying, you got to come out with another amp. So Mike and I worked on this for a long time, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Of course, 19 years later, workshop band for the demos, the legendary Shop Shakers. All right, I'm cool. Once I get a shop, there's lots of good players here in LA that'll come by and jam, including you. Come on over. But anyway, so it was a little bit rushed. Doesn't matter. I'm really thrilled with the way it turned out. I would probably make this channel switching instead of 2 discrete channels now because times have changed. Back then, we were making amps mostly for pros. They did not want channel switching amps. They wanted cables going into each input and they could switch themselves from their board. A lot of guys were still using Bob Bradshaw setups and stuff like that back then. But anyway, we had to move. I had to move from a little shop to a big shop. Had to hire some people, had to train some people. I was getting buried with, a lot of work. And we just didn't get a chance to give this amp its due attention. And by the time we got settled over there, it was time for another amp already. And then we came out with the Soho, right? Man, that's a good sound. I like that. I fall back on my chord progressions, that really illustrate the guitar more than my guitar playing. Because my guitar playing is average, but I want you to hear how good the amp sounds. Whoa, that's good. That's rich. Change a little cleaner. A little more dirt. Raymond Colby says, I'm glad you got distracted with the Soho. Best amp I've ever owned. You should revisit the Marquee Club, though. Marquee Revisited. Yeah. I really like this amp. And I don't know that, other than, we got to do a couple things that everybody demands now, like channel switching. We'll put the master voltage in this. And then, hey, Phil. So Hadaway says, me too. Right on. I like the way that amp chimes. Yeah. And we'll probably put an effects loop on for the people who really want that. This one might be worth resurrecting, because, let me roll it. I'm going to sing it, Brian? How are you, buddy? Is that what you wanted to hear, Brian? Even though I'm not doing it really great. You gave me something I understand. You gave me loving in the palm of my hand. I can't tell you how I feel. I cannot sing like Paul McCartney, especially at low volumes. My heart is like a wheel. Let me roll it. Let me roll it to you. Brian's heard me sing this song in the past. And Brian, as Brian knows, I cannot sing quietly. I have a trombone for a voice. Can't really sing that great anyway, but I can get over it. I put a reverb and a bit of delay in front of my producer. Turned almost off. It sounds as good as a loop. Yeah, I mean, there's that whole loop discussion. Loops tend to really be most effective in amps that have a lot of gain in the preamp section. Ours don't. You're getting a lot of distortion out of our amps in the phase inverter and power section. So the loop is before that in the circuit. No matter what, you can't fake it. It has to be there. So you kind of don't really... the Marquee. The Mark Squared. Yeah. I like that, Scotty. So the loop isn't as effective in these kind of amps, but a lot of guys just insist on it. It makes them feel better. But I'm with you, Mark. I like the sound of my effects in the front of the amp. I like it when the echo has a little distortion on it because it sounds like your guitar. If your guitar is dirty and the echo is not, to me, at my age and my history, it sounds odd to me. It doesn't sound right. Now, there are a lot of great guys that play with effects loop and use them effectively and correctly, and they're wonderful at it. I'm just not. You know, I list my favorite guitar players, starting way back: Chuck Berry, George Harrison, Keith Richards, Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Billy Gibbons, Eric Johnson, Jeff Beck, Eddie Van Halen. None of those guys use a loop, right? So that's kind of where I am. But there's no right or wrong. I'm just saying, don't be put off if an amp doesn't have a loop. It doesn't mean you can't make it work, as Mark Saulnier is pointing out right here. The Marshall style output transformer makes sense. Yeah, this is kind of a JTM 45, like a radio spares type output transformer. I found that G12M25 greenbacks work the best for me with my I bet it's a great setup. Yeah, I think greenbacks are a really good fit for this. I need to bring my cabinet back that has my old greenback in it. It's not even greenback, it's a blackback, but it's an M, G12M. Let's switch out guitars. What should I play? Let's see. I haven't played the Rickenbacker in a long time, but it doesn't sound that much different than the Gretsch. But we are doing Beatley stuff. Let's do some Rickenbacker. Oh, it's a little dusty guitar. I'm sorry, little guitar. Haven't played you in a while. Since we're going on the British, I run into an Iron Man 2 attenuator with the master all the way up. I understand I'll wear out tubes. That's fine. If you can afford them, buy them. Any concern on transformers or other components? No. I mean, you're asking your output transformer to do a lot, but on my amps, that's fine. Phil, I have watched Man on the Run. It's really good, isn't it? It was way better than I thought it was going to be. Actually, that's in D, isn't it? Baby's good to me, you know she's happy as can be, you know she said so. I'm in love with her and I feel fine. I'm so glad she's my little girl. She's so glad she's telling all the world. I feel fine. Yeah, that's it. I'm a little out of tune. Let's get her back in this spec here. It's another Bigsby guitar. So it's going to take me a second. Let me turn this off so you don't have to listen to that. Sorry. All right, there we go. Got to belt it out to cover McCartney. Yeah, and even if I do belt it out, I'm never going to sound as good as McCartney. So I don't even kid myself. But I like singing the songs when no one's watching. We used to have, Brian's, had this company called Colossal Cable, which he sold. But he used to run it out of the same building. We were in the same place. And it was really fun because I had a jam set up in the shop, drums and a PA system and amps, of course, and all the stuff. So Brian would come over. He's a fantastic drummer. I don't know if you know Brian Mendes, but what's out there, Darla? What do you see? Yeah, that's some good, 60s rock and roll. Let's turn this a little less deep. That's a harpsichord on the record. It's not even a guitar. When I get hold of you, all the things I do. This amp was made in I think it's March 2007 is the date on it. That doesn't mean that's when it's made. That's when we shipped it. Might have been made before then. We used to sign them and date them when we were shipping them, so it could have been made Christmas 2006. I don't know. I like that. That works for me. By the way, this is my little Rickenbacker 325. When I was younger, so much younger than today. Never needed anybody's help anyway. Oh yeah, Bill, I'm sorry. I should be talking more about this. Is 4EL84s running at about 36 watts. Maybe a little bit more. It's two discrete channels. One is the cascode thing that's going on here, where we take one triode and use both grids and kind of set it up like a pentode. So I've got a cathode, a control grid, and a screen grid, and then a plate. We're wired across both triodes of this tube, and it sounds great. We were trying to emulate or simulate an EF86 because it didn't translate to the higher powered amp like this. And I really dig it. And then this channel is just straight like treble, mid, bass, standard. Let me play it for you. It's going to sound kind of weird with the Rickenbacker. You know, just standard kind of British amp, you know. Let me go back to just a regular humbucker because I'm playing some unique sounding guitars here, so you can get the idea. But let me just go back to straight old low output PAF, and I'll show you what's going on. I've got some other strats, but I always think this is kind of the best kind of guitar to show an amp off with, because everybody kind of has a guitar similar to this. You know, everybody's got a guitar that's going to sound pretty close to this. Humbucker Les Paul sort of setup. Let's talk Bruce Egnater into moving his manufacturing from China to Van Nuys. Well, so that's not him anymore. He got rid of it. His stuff's always been in Michigan. It was his licensee that made them all here in LA. Let's go back over to the Cascode just because it's new again. And I'm really digging it. Yeah, let's get a little more heat on that. A little more depth. There we go. Got that little wolfy growl to it. Coming through on the broadcast or not, but in my ears I'm hearing this quack 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 kind of conk conk percussive thing that I really like, you know. That harmonic content in the upper mids and the lower spectrum of the high frequency stuff. I didn't roll a guitar back then, that's just my right hand. The guitar back, right? All right, so there you go, the Marquee Club, everybody. And I got a couple of fun things to tell you about. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down unless you have some specific request. You get the idea. It's great. This one is kind of spoken for. But there are two of them, and for the right money, why is this so messed up? I got a bad connection here with my headphones. For the right money, I can be talked out of it. So anyway, how are faceplates applied? These are Lexan, like plexiglass. And they're black. They have 3 layers. There's black, white, and black. And so when you hit them with a laser, it kills the black so that the clear comes through, the clear plastic underneath it comes through, and it looks like an old faceplate. And it just the screws or the nuts on all of these pots are what's holding it on, and the jacks and switches and stuff. So anyway, what's going on with 65 amps? All right, so here's the deal. We got with a contract manufacturer. I got initial quotes this week. They look really good. We're going to move forward. It's probably going to be the summer before we ship anything, because we have some engineering and prototyping fees and all that kind of stuff to do. But I think we're in business. I think it's real. It's really good. I'm getting my domain back also, so there'll be 65 amps website up pretty soon. It'd probably be just a temporary placeholder, website, just saying, hey, we're back. It might even be a copy of the old website, edited down to what we're going to do, and probably just with some text saying, come see us on Facebook and Instagram. For now. So right now what we're going to do is build some little Elvises and some stone ponies, because there's endless requests for those. We used to joke that we could just start an amp company called Little Elvis, and it would be fine. Just like Gibson could start a company called Les Paul, and they don't need to make anything else, right? So Elvis is still like that, even to this day. No less than once a week, I get a request from somebody saying, hey, help me find a Little Elvis or a stone pony. And I can't. People don't really sell them. Like, we made a lot of Little Elvises too, and they rarely come up for sale. Stone pony, we didn't make that many of, and those rarely come up for sale as well. But there's such a small supply of them that it's impossible. So we thought we would help with that. Make some to get out. Now this is mainly just to get our dealer network back up and to get back in business and get back on the radar screen. We're not going to make the legacy amps very much. Thanks, Raymond. So special orders is the key. Like, we'll make the legacy amps on special order, but I got to forewarn you. If I make this amp exactly the way I made this one in 2006 or 2007, it's going to be $4,500, maybe even $5,000. The component prices and labor costs and insurance costs and everything have just gone through the roof. We did our license deal at the end of 2012, and it started in 2013. So that's the last time I was really in touch with, real component costs up to date. And like, all the transformers have doubled and tripled, and those are the most expensive part of the amp. Some output transformers that I used to think it was highway robbery that I had to pay $120 for them. Now they're $285 at wholesale cost, not retail cost, at wholesale. So me buying them at wholesale, $285 for a power transformer. That's more than the entire set of transformers I put in any amp I ever made, let alone just a power transformer. Like, really expensive transformers, when I handed over the production to my licensee, were $120. And even then, it's like, why are we spending that much money? It's now, so the transformer set in like this amp at wholesale is over $500. And the way things work in manufacturing is you kind of got to triple your money or you go out of business. A lot of people go, well, it costs you $1,500 to make it. Why don't you sell it to me for $1,750? Well, I got to pay rent. I have to pay salaries. I have to pay utilities. I have to pay for workers' comp insurance. I have to, there's a lot of overhead running a manufacturing business. So if you just double your money, like if I make it for $1,500 and sell it wholesale for $3,000, I'll make just enough money to pay my bills and not take any money home. I need to take money home. I'm a human being, right? So we shoot for trying to triple our money. So anyway, that makes it expensive. And then the dealer has to at least make 30%, or it's not worth their time. So if I sell them something for $2,000, they need to mark it up to $2,600 because they have to pay the rent on their store. They have to pay the salaries of the guys in there. They have to pay the electric bill and the heating bill and everything for their store. And then they have insurance and they have liability insurance because they're a public business. If someone slips and falls in their store, they have to have insurance for that. All this kind of stuff, which is really boring and it's very wet blanket kind of conversation. But I just want you to understand what the cost structure is on this so you don't think we're all over here raping you. We're not. Most guys in the amp business barely make a profit, even with really expensive amps. They're not making much money on each one by the time it's all said and done. By the time they pay all their bills and pay all their employees and pay all their taxes and then keep their supply chain full. Because if I need a couple of speakers for a cabinet, I don't go buy 2 speakers. I have to buy them by the pallet. And each pallet has 60 speakers on it. So if I need a G12H30 and an Alnico Blue, I'm buying 120 speakers to do that. Now, it's good. I'm getting them at a good deal, and they're sitting, but that's still money sitting on that pallet that I can't use to buy my lunch. And I like to eat food, and so do my children. So I don't mean that like I'm sorry to be a wet blanket. So anyway, we're going to be in business now. The way I'm going to do this with a contract manufacturer, we are going to change the amps a little bit. Yeah, I know it's common. I just don't know how many people have that money. What's a little Elvis going to map? I'm not really sure right now. My best guess is $24.99. And that's just a guess right now. Don't quote me, Phil. Please give me some grace on that. It could be less. It could be more. But I think that's give or take 10%. That's pretty correct. Same with the Stone Pony. They're going to be, for the head, going to be 20. The Stone Pony might be 2,700. If I were to make it hand wired the way that I used to, it'd be $1,000 more than that. Easy. Little Elvis would probably be $3,500, and Stone Pony would be 38. So what we are going to do, we're going to do it on a printed circuit board, and printed circuit boards have come a million miles in the past decade. They're actually better than doing hand wired. They're more consistent. They sound just as good, if not better, and they're quieter. There's been a lot of breakthroughs with software for designing PCBs and also manufacturing techniques in Asia. That's the way they make them. And they're really great. So it's not hard to beat. So our contract manufacturer is in the Midwest. So what we're going to do at first is offer 2 different transformer setups. One is hay-borer because they're in the neighborhood, and hay-borers are great. Hay-borers are what Dave Friedman uses, George Metropolis, lots of huge amp companies use hay-borers. They're really good transformers. They are machine wound though; they're not hand wound like Mercury. So what we think we're going to do is offer this with either set, and there'll be an upcharge for the Mercury, and probably quite an upcharge. But that's our legacy is Mercury Magnetics, right? And they have new owners now, and I'm trying to get in there and see what kind of pricing I can get, and see if I can make it work. So like if a little Elvis or a Stone Pony is $2,500 with hay-borer transformers, they're probably going to be $2,900 to $3,000, $2,999 with Mercury in them. What we're trying to shoot for is no real audible difference. So we're going to go there. We're going to do lots of side-by-side and tweak with our contract manufacturer and with the hay-borer guys. And we're going to have some artists over, like Scotty Bratcher lives in the neighborhood there, and a few other people, and probably go down to Nashville from there and rent out a room at Soundcheck and have a bunch of artists come by and play and give us their honest opinion so that we can make sure this product is right. And I'm really confident that we can do it. Yeah, just so you know, like, again, there's my problem. I'm feeding my kids. Screw them kids. Yeah, it's quite a responsibility. I have 2 in college. Not only do they eat a lot, but their universities ask for a ton of money. So it's all worth it. It's fine. But Anyway, we're going to try to make you an amp that is affordable, not cheap, but affordable, that will serve you really well and be reliable and sound just as good as this, and the whole thing. So, um, yeah, we'll have to figure that out. And I'll have better numbers for you soon. Um, it's quite all right. I'm trying to figure. There's got to be a way to get this picture. Um, let's see. If I flip it there, does that change? Did that change anything? I'm messing with everything right now, seeing if I can get it to switch. Did my image, am I still backwards? Anyway, so that's what's going on. Um, no. What are you barking at? Hey, Darla. Darla, it's nothing. It's a delivery guy. Sorry about that. Um, that's our new little doggy. Um, yeah, man, you know what I'm talking about. Uh, okay, so the picture's just screwed up. I gotta feel this. Anyway, it's just life. But again, I want to say like, oh, the picture is back to correct now. All right, you're right-handed Catholic again. I think I figured out where it might be. Anyway, so hey, I'm back. Hi. This eye is on this side. So anyway, lots of money going out the door. But I really want to emphasize again, if I made this amp exactly the way that it is now, with the same methods and the same exact components, it would be $4,500 to $5,000. I just don't think there's a market there. I mean, I could still we can make these on request, any of these. Um, Thanks, Raymond. Glad you're here, buddy. You have a great weekend too, man. Thank you. Um, I can still make any of these amps on request, but they're going to be expensive. The used market is definitely the way to go. Like if you want me to make you a Marquee Club, we'll probably update it. But I could do it on a printed circuit board with Haybor transformers, which sound amazing, for a lot less money, like $2,000 less, right? So, um, but I'm happy to talk to you about it if you have any issues or questions or don't understand, like, what the business model is and why things are the way they are. I'm really happy to explain it to you. I'm very transparent about it. I'm not trying to pull one over on anybody. I'm just trying to pay my bills. And my wife has a good job, so that makes it easier. Hey, I'm right-handed now. Look at me. Woohoo. So I like being very open with you guys. And if you have any questions, even if they're cynical, skeptical questions, I'm happy to answer them. So just let me know. But anyway, so I'm working on this prototype amp that you guys heard. We're going to start doing that. And then the little amp that I haven't really spilled much on. And then software. I have software. I got a patent on some software. So it's AI software to work with amps and guitars and everything else. So we got a lot going on. And the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, right? So our first step right now is getting this contract manufacturing going with some old legacy amps. They will be updated versions of the legacy amp. And now there is a way I could get a hold of builders here in LA and do the hand wired thing for you. Just know that it's going to be expensive and slow. If you're cool with that, not Dumble expensive and slow, but expensive and slow. $5,000, and it'll probably take a couple months to get it built. That sort of thing. But even at that, I'm not going to make very much money. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds especially crazy to me because I got into this business in 2002 when the most expensive transformer set and the transformer set in my London from Mercury Magnetics was 120. Now that just that output transformer is $200 for that little bitty output transformer. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll quit. I'm kind of beating a dead horse here. You get the idea. I'm really glad you guys got to um, see the Marquee Club, and I'm going to have it for a little while. I'll probably play it again next week. And if you have any questions or whatever, I can do this multiple times. Like if we want to get another session together, if you guys want to get on the fans page and come up with, hey, Dan, here's some questions we'd like you to answer, or play the Marquee Club, and would you please play these guitars and try to play something that sounds a little bit like whatever, I'll try to do it for you. It's no problem. I'm very open to suggestions, and I'm ready to hear what you need. Anyway, I got to run. I'm getting my domain back today. Yay! It's been in limbo for a while. So when you go to 65amps.com in the very near future, it's going to look correct again. And I'll have my email address back and all that stuff. So I have to leave to go do that. Anyway, but just, before I go, tell me what's up. What's on your mind? What do you need to know? Tell me something good. If not, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But I know there's a lag here, so I'm going to hang out for a few seconds. Make sure I'm not missing anyone. But man, I really appreciate you guys. Scotty, I'm still laughing at that. You're a right-handed Catholic again. What was I before? A left-handed Muslim? Mark says, seems like the market will pay whatever it costs depending on how much buzz the brand can generate. Yeah, that's true. That's one of the things we need to spend money on is marketing and advertising and doing a better show than me in my office, my home office. When I get a shop, we'll have a proper setup like I used to have with proper lights, and I'll be playing through live cabinets. It'll sound más mejor. Yeah, and I have help with that. I have smart people lined up to help with the buzz, with the marketing, especially the modern social media marketing, which is a full-time job. It's Facebook is once a week, Instagram's every day, TikTok's 6 times a day. It's a lot of work. So I'm not going to do that myself. I'm going to focus on running an amp company and getting good sounding amps out the door, and designed and all that stuff. So anyway, okay, well, I'm going to call it, guys. Thank you so much. I'm glad you got to finally hear the Marquee Club. Most people have never heard of this mysterious amp. Actually, if you look on my Facebook page, that's a Marquee Club that Tomio Okuda, that's Tomio Okuda's amp on stage with him. You notice the Japanese accoutrement on top of the amp, right? He's got a Sapporo beer and a pack of cigarettes, and that's a Marquee Club. I have that actual amp also, which I think I might keep for myself. But we can certainly make you another one for the right price if you're really digging it. And let me try to make one that's, a little more modern. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for wasting your time with me. I hope it actually wasn't a waste of time, but I sure enjoy talking with you and hearing your thoughts and questions. And please keep them coming if you have any ideas, stuff you want. The companies get up and running. So if you have any, gee, Dan, I wish you'd do this, or I hope you'd do that. I'm listening. I'll pay attention. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything you ask for, but I'm listening, and every good idea will be heeded. So on that note, I got to split. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, and I'll see you next week. All right. Love you. Bye.